Hey, right. Welcome to episode number 7 of the Na-Lata project. We're here with our special guest this week. Been waiting quite a while for this one to happen. Nate Alley, director at Sentinel Homes Waikato, also president of the Master Builders Waikato. Cheers for coming on, mate. It's
All
awesome.
good, mate.
Yeah,
Glad to be here.
So you've pretty much had your foot on the pedal all year, mate. It's been quite remarkable.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of things going on. 75 hard, and then your stuff with the Blue Lake Challenge.
Yeah.
How do you do it, mate?
Yeah, I don't sleep. No, it has been a busy year, man. I don't know. I think everyone's feeling busier than normal or just under a bit more pressure than normal. But yeah, I've probably been pushing the boat out a little bit. Probably taken away a little bit from home life, so trying to get that balance back now. But I sort of like having the foot to the floor too, eh? I don't want to die early and be up there thinking, man, I wish I'd done a little bit more. So I'm about it.
Yeah, that's good. And I mean, it's and not only that, it's been, for us on the ground, project managers and tradies and stuff like that, it's been a tough year in the building trade with COVID, and last 2 years has been out the gate. So I imagine for you as a director of business, it would have been real tough times, some stressful times and that.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, I mean, I've been in business now for probably 12 years, maybe a little bit less, a little bit longer. And I haven't seen it like this before, in terms of stress levels in general. Not just for myself. I think I can cope with it better now because I've had 12 years. But just people in general, whether it's clients, subcontractors, employees, everyone's just tapped, man. People were counting down to Christmas in June. Normally, people are starting to do that in October.
I see Mons put something up on the whiteboard today, 81 days till Christmas.
I think it's as bad the time for everyone, but we learn a lot with that as well.
Yeah.
Because some people's learn working home, do some things in home. And for the family as well, you have more time with the family as well, and you can still work in home. And basically, when they back in the normal, but when we back from the first lockdown, for the builders, we back first. Builders, everyone back, have some rules, but it's pretty good. It's a bad time, but we learn as well. And if one day, hopefully not, but one day have it again, it's pretty much we know what we need to do. And New Zealand's so good, so safe for everyone.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting too. One thing that's really helped for me personally is just around, you don't get rainbows without rain, right? So it's kind of holding on to knowing that it will be better at some stage soon, and probably very soon, And when we do get a chance to, everyone will be at some point in the near future where you go, that was a pretty gnarly time, but life's way better now because of it. It's almost you need a bit of a reset.
In principle for the businessman, because I think when you have a lockdown, your first thing is not only you got a lot of employees and lots of family. I think you think, what are we gonna do? What's the plan now? I think
And that lockdown period was hard, and I know we just moved into the new offices and that, so everybody was buzzed about that. And then it was just lockdown. So I know as soon as you said come back to the office, everybody was like straight It's quite funny, eh? So, month at home, man.
Well, and then added to that too is just another years in business, it's you might get someone who has, it's very rare that people would use their full sick leave, for example. Whereas I think at the moment, no one's got any left. People have legit been getting sick. I'm sure that's an unintended consequence of a lot of those things that were happening. But that's just kind of added to the pressure as well.
That's it. It's either we sort of seem to be through the supply chain major issues now. Things are lightening up, and we're getting product better. But we've got all the product, but heaps of people off sick, So it's challenging, right? So just want to go right back. So you're Tokoroa boy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I wasn't born there, but was definitely raised there.
Yeah, right. Where were you born, mate?
Man, I hate getting asked that question. Auckland, man.
Oh, yeah. You keep that one secret.
Yeah, so now my old man's side of the family's from up there.
Yeah.
Born up there. Yep, raised by my old lady down in Toke. So I still call Toke home.
Yeah.
I've been out of Toke for 16 odd years now, which is a bit scary, but yeah. No, it's still home. Still, a lot of my best friends are still down there.
Yeah.
Go there. I'm going there this weekend actually.
Oh, yeah. So schooling through there. What's the school down there? What's the high school? Is it Tokoroa High?
Yeah, there's Tokoroa High and Forest View. I went to Forest View.
Yeah.
And it was always like we all knew each other because we went to the same primary schools and intermediates, but we were at war once we got to high school. Yeah. The local rugby games were pretty good.
Yeah. And you obviously play rugby. And
I played footy back in the day, but yeah, not very well.
That's all good, mate. And then so you moved to Hamilton and started an apprenticeship. That's
man. So like I was reasonably good at school. Like I, in terms of the subjects, I liked maths. I was reasonable at English, but I liked PE and woodwork way more. So school just got to the point where I was just over being there. I remember my English teacher one day was teaching us how to write a haiku, and I just sat there. I just refused to do it. Like I was just a bit of a shitbag like that, And she started trying to tune me up, and I just said to her, Miss, you tell me one time in my life where I'm going to need to know how to write a haiku poem, and I'll do it. And she couldn't tell me. She just sent me up to the dean's office. So I was like, so I got over school real quick. It just wasn't, the school system, I think, wasn't for me. And I think that's true for a lot
of Kiwi boys, right?
Yeah, man, 100%.
Yeah.
So, I either wanted to be a builder or a farmer. I was working on the farms at the time.
Oh, yeah.
But then, I loved woodwork. I sort of didn't really want to stay in Toke. I do love it down there, and I love the people down there, but I like the city too. So people give Hamilton a bad rap, but when I moved here, I was just like, man, this place is awesome.
Yeah. And the thing is, I did my apprenticeship here too for a little bit earlier. But, and then I went off and did my travels and that, and then I tried Auckland when I came home and then spent a bit of time down the South Island, but come full circle, I think I always call Hamilton home.
Yeah.
Sure.
Nice, Auckland, I think, is so big.
It's it's busy and it's...
Hamilton's are that good size where it's big enough that everything is here. You can literally get whatever you need. But it's small enough to feel like a village, and you can you can almost guarantee when you go into a cafe or to an event there, you probably know someone down there.
You know what I mean? And the other thing, it is really, 2 or 3 hours to anywhere, But South Island, it's really local and
really
centralised,
close.
So,
Really close.
Yeah. So talk us through your apprenticeship, mate.
Yeah. So interestingly, so I left school. I was like 15 or just turned 16, and left school and came up here, tried to find a job straight away, and went around, dropped off my CV to different places, and they all said, go get a pre-trade, do the pre-trade course to do all your bookwork at Tech. So I went and did that, and then that was in 2006 or 2007. Obviously, the GFC hit in 2007, so by the time I finished my pre-trade, I went back to them to say, cool, I've done my pre-trade, I'm ready for a job now. And all of them said, we're not giving out any jobs, we're actually getting rid of people. And part of the pre-trade, I had to do work experience a day a week. So I'd turn up there on, I think it was Wednesdays, and just work for them for free just to get experience as part of my course. So anyway, I went to a few of them. I knew the company I wanted to work for because they were building these pretty cool houses. And so after they told me that they couldn't give me a job, I just turned up the next day. Told the foreman I'm still on work experience. I'll just turn up. And then I turned up the next day and the next day and the next day. And I wasn't on the payroll or anything. I just stayed there. And then I think it was like middle of the following week, my foreman rang the boss and said, "Man, you just got to give this guy a job."
Yeah, just become
So this must have been it was ticket finish about October, and they said, okay, look, we've got this job on, we can give you work till Christmas. I was like, yeah, sweet. So stayed till Christmas, came back after the new year, just never left. And they signed me up to the apprenticeship after that. And then, got through my apprenticeship pretty quickly. I was pretty motivated to just get it done. And it was good because they changed from the hours system where you had to do 8,000 hours or whatever to competency based.
Yep.
So you could do it as quick as you wanted to.
Yeah, just smash it out. Get the bookwork up to date, eh?
Yeah, man. So I just made a point of doing a little bit every day and got my apprenticeship done in like 2 years.
Sweet.
So that was mint. Qualified like 19.
And was it in residential, or were you doing more commercial stuff? Or?
It was good. The company I worked for had a commercial arm as well.
Yeah.
So I predominantly built new homes because that's what I liked anyway. But then for my apprenticeship, I got to do commercial work to sign off some different units, tilt slabs and
bloody handy, because you need all those units. Yeah.
So even as a builder now, I've got bugger all commercial experience. Like I'd sort of know my way around, but I wouldn't be able to run a commercial project or anything like that. So,
Yeah. And so and then what after your apprenticeship, did you go out and get by yourself, or did you do some?
Yeah, I worked as a foreman for a bit. Had a couple of apprentices, and then went out on my own and contracted back to that company that I was working for. And then I got a chance to go to Christchurch because in 2011, obviously they had the earthquakes. Yeah. So I went down there, contracted the Fletchers, did emergency repairs and that sort of stuff.
Oh, shit.
That was super interesting, man.
Yeah.
Like, just went from basically just building new homes my whole apprenticeship to then getting into emergency repairs, digging up liquefaction, dealing with earthquakes. Like it was loose, man. It was crazy down there.
How long were you down there for?
Only about 6 months. Like it was when they were in real dire straits in terms of like they just needed
everybody.
There. Man. Like there were people in wheelchairs stuck in houses because their concrete ramps had broken and stuff like that. Like they had houses that weren't accessible because of liquefaction and all this sort of stuff. Brick chimneys that were like teetering. You know, people living in the house where like a small earthquake would just the chimney will come through the roof sort of thing.
I know. I was down on the west coast when all that happened. I mean, we were living in Hokitika, and I felt it that first one. Woke up in the middle of the night, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and the house was shaking in Hokitika. But just to go back, like just something that sprung to mind with the building trade, like you forget all that era. You know, when you were saying, you know, the global financial meltdown, and I can remember there was no houses being built anywhere. No. You know, that's when I first started sort of going into civils. Because, you know, the government were building roads and bridges and all that sort of thing. But, it's crazy. And then into the earthquakes and all that sort of thing. That's been I suppose COVID's front of mind, but it has been sort of a rocky...
I think the thing is, mate, like anyone who's been in the construction game for less than 10 years has only seen growth times. You know, and actually when you strip it back, so at the peak of the GFC, I think we got down to 15,000 consents. So 15,000 new builds consented or something like that. We were at 47,000 last year, and they think it's going to get down to about 30, which is pretty close to capacity for the industry anyway. So, like, you know, we're still busy, man. Like, it could be way worse. Way worse.
In your opinion, for we getting more houses, how many years you think we getting busy? The next 5-10 years?
So the funny thing is, like, this is the sort of stuff I start to look at now, like running a business like we do. It's sort of, you got to try and look at some of the data to try and make sense, because the opinion out there is real different, right? Like some people are saying, oh, the market's going to crash. Some people are saying, oh, it's going to think. At the moment, we are in, I think this number's close, but we're about 104,000 houses short of where we need to be to sustain our current population. Like, also it's something like that. So when you look at something like that, it's like, well, even at capacity, it's going to take us 3 or 4 years to even get to where we need to be. Reality being, like, we're not going to build them that quick, and as soon as they open up the borders and net migration increases again, which it probably will unless we see way more people go to Australia or move out of New Zealand, then we've still got at least 3 or 4 years ahead of us of building houses, you know, exactly. So probably longer. Like, while the housing shortage is not great, it's actually okay for us as a construction industry, because we need to get them built. It sucks for New Zealand in general, because we've got people that need houses, right? But because sometimes I hear
some people say, oh, we have a next year getting down, or in 2 years we're getting down. But I think in New Zealand, hey, it's so big and we can make him. I think in the next 5 years, easy we keep it busy.
Yeah, and if it's to Nate's point, even if there is a bit of a lull, just if that ties you over, I mean, it'll pick up again. I mean, the building trade's always like a roller coaster.
Yeah,
I've found. I think year 26, and this is probably. I mean, if there is if it does slow up, that'll be the third time I've seen that.
Yeah,
So it sort of seems it works in 10-year periods. So, but it always bounces back.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
What about the prices in the moment? What do you think?
So that'll be real interesting, eh? Like, and this is just my opinion, but because of what we're seeing the last couple of years, where like it's all supply and demand, so the industry hasn't been able to keep up with what it's been doing because we had 47,000 consents for whatever it was. So there was both the pressure on supply as well as the lack of supply, which meant the prices have obviously been going up. Plus the COVID related stuff like the actuals around global shipping, fuel, labour, all that sort of stuff. So, but I think what we're going to see is now the industry's actually caught up, I think, in terms of capacity. So we were way behind in terms of the ability to deliver as an industry. But you've got the businesses now who have finally, like if you look at someone like Winstones, for example, or Hardy's, they've gone, cool, they put all this resource into trying to catch up to where they've caught up. But now the front end sales have slowed down across the board, and so they're going to have to become competitive again. So you're going to see competitive tension like come back into the market, which will be, I mean, that's good for everyone really. Like it's got to correct itself a little bit. Whether it comes back as much as it should, I doubt. But all it means is that it'll stabilise for a longer period. So
about you think if the government or some banks have some plan for help, because sometimes I saw some people wanna buy the home, but when they see the price, it's like, oh wow, yeah. Because normally now we're talking about 1 million up easy in the good places, the good like new subdivision, something like that. You think the government needed to do something like some plan for help the population, or banks as well, getting more easy, or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that they should do, probably, but they haven't done a lot in that space apart from talk about it, you know. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not a banker, economist, or a politician, but you know, I'm sure there's plenty of other things that they could do. What's happened too is like you've got a property market that's increased by 30% in the last 2 years, or between 20 and 30%, but wages have gone up, but they might have only gone up 6 or 7%, or inflation's at 7%, CPI has gone, you know, whatever it's done, cost of living's gone up. So it's just getting harder and harder. The people I feel for, the first home buyers, they're the ones who are missing out. So I think about that hard out with my kids. I'm like, man, it's just
same with me.
The older my kids, you know, the more this goes on, the harder it's going to be for my kids to buy a house. Which
and it sort of seems like, and I see there's a couple of banks advertising now that, you know, they're sharing mortgages between friends and that, and I think that could be a good way to at least get that first stepping stone anyway, you know. But certainly by yourself, or I think if you're in a relationship and there's two working people, but if you're, you know, single, it's bloody hard to get.
And even, you know, you got two professional, like a professional couple with no kids. I mean, it's still not easy for them to buy a house, you know. Like my wife and I were lucky we bought a house, our first house 5 years ago or something. But man, we probably, you know, if that was today, we wouldn't have been able to do it back then. You know, it's just
got to service that bloody mortgage.
Crazy, What I hope to see is like a bit of disruption around it, around either that model, like where shared ownership or something like that becomes more normal. Or even something in that tiny homes kind of shared living, or, you know, there's got to be a stepping stone where people don't have to rent for ages. They can get into home ownership cheaply and you know, ride that through to they can build or buy their own house as a standalone or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, like I know in the UK they had, they had a massive council buildings and massive council estates and that, and what they were offering people that wanted to get ahead was like a rent to buy sort of system. So you could
100%.
start out in state housing, and then it would be a rent to buy scheme, and eventually, and it was that was a good step up and out for people, definitely.
Well, it's like even as funny as in the space. I've just been talking to someone the other day. We knew, that government support stuff. The government support at the moment, I think could be used a lot better, like whether it is in that rent to buy space, like, because I mean, if you look at something like a unemployment benefit, say, just as an example, or you've got people that want to work but are struggling to find jobs, well, the government's supporting them anyway. So we've been having talks with people around, especially if they're young, like the rangatahi, it should be pay someone as an incentive to employ this young person to start getting them skills which will then make them more employable, which means they're not requiring government support. Plus it contributes to their sense of belonging. They get your upskilling, but they pay, instead they just pay and they don't have to work, or and these are people that want to work as well. Like,
it's more around empowering than enabling.
100%.
Definitely.
Because it's always the chicken and the egg, right? It's like, even for us as a business, we'd love to give young guys the opportunity, but there's a high cost to doing that with no skills, right? But they need to be given the opportunity to get the skills. And it's like, where does that middle ground happen?
Exactly. I mean,
in Brazil, we have one system for the government. The government, if you're not young or you need some job, the government give you 3 options for you. Give you one. Oh, you have this job for you. He said, I don't like this. Okay. Second one. Oh, I don't like. You got the last one. If he said no like, the government stop, no pay nothing anymore for him. He need to take one. That's why I give you 3 options for him. And it's pretty good because you motivation people to do something, some skills, and give opportunity for start to work. But the same time, if you help some companies, the government give you some motivation for the companies as well. I don't know, in the tax, something like that, for you have a more trainee for work in the company is pretty good.
100%.
So, what year did you start Sentinel Homes, mate?
2015.
2000, and
so just gone 7 years.
And so you were the first franchise from the start.
There was us and a guy called Barney in South Auckland. So we were the first. So Sentinel Homes started before that in I think about 2005 or something like that. Stu. And then he was building a lot of houses for quite a while in Auckland. Before he decided to go down the franchise route. And then I got approached by one of the guys who was his GM at the time, and just pursued it a bit further. Like for me, I always wanted to sort of build a show home and build a lot of houses and that sort of stuff, but I was never that good at systems and stuff like that. Like I sort of need a brand and something that has a bit of process and stuff for guidance. People say to me, like, why don't you try do it on your own? And I'm like, nah, I don't really need to, the Sentinel gives me all the tools that I want to have anyway, and all the values align.
So in those early days, like, if did you have to go out and make one sale and start one house?
Man.
Could you talk us through that?
So it was Dell and I, like my auntie, we bought it together, and like honestly, man, we were sitting around a table like this, basically hustling to set up some systems, get our name out there, try and meet some people, sell some houses, and it was our first one. I think it took us about 3 months, and it was a friend of my auntie's down in Ohope, so 3.5 hours away. But it was like, man, we need to get something. So
were you wearing all the hats?
Sales, everything, project manager, the whole lot, man, and did that for quite a while. Like I think we sold and built maybe 4 houses or something over the first 9-10 months before we got a project manager. We got our first project manager on, and then led into more sales, and that's how it's been the whole time. It's like
just building bit by bit.
And for me, it's pretty much go till I'm so tapped out that we need to get someone.
Yeah,
get someone, you know. So,
yeah.
Those first couple of years were pretty gnarly. It's like, people say, like, with hindsight, would you do it again? Because I think I expected it to be super hard. But I didn't think it'd be this hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in hindsight, I think I definitely would do it again. It'd probably just be things I'd do different.
Yeah. And so, like, how like the first year would have been tough. And when did you really start feeling like, it was, turning the corner and things were kicking off?
Oh, man.
Because, I mean, like I came in 2021 and it was rolling, man.
Yeah.
It was like a cool offers.
Yeah, man. To be honest, I probably still don't feel like we're like. I think probably 2019, 2020, like pre-COVID.
Yeah,
that was feeling like we were really kicking some goals and kicking some ass, and then COVID hit, and then everything just went haywire, right? So like the last 2 years, I'm real proud of where we are today. Like I said to someone today, our team's in such a good place at the moment. We've had to deal with a lot recently. And so, I feel like our team's in a real good spot, but obviously not kicking as many goals as what we might normally be. But then, it's real hard. Like, I think every time I try to take like a zoom out kind of view and go, well, have an objective view on where we're at, I'm like, man, when you think about it, we've done some, even this year, like, even though it doesn't feel that way, the success that you and the guys had at House of the Year.
Yeah, exactly,
Some of the things we've done as a team in terms of team meetings. We've got some cool social stuff planned coming up. Sponsorship of the rugby. Like, there's things that, I mean, put it this way, 7 years ago, I never thought we'd have our brand on the back of a Waikato rugby jersey. I never thought...
I didn't think I'd end up on the back of a bus.
There you go. Neither, man. And then, it's real. Like, we had that success at House of the Year this year.
Yeah, and that's worth a mention, everybody. Like, we put in 3 entries and got 3 goals. So it's a massive...
that's pretty good because you guys got a really good company and good name. And lots of people trust you guys, your work, and you got a good team as well. Behind you as well, work hard. Big time. And that's why... I would say all the time when I say to my students in here in the gym, I said, if you do well and you do good things, you got it back. That's why when we started 2 years ago, you start and you never think about now, but when do you see now, you say, wow, this is pretty good. And 100%. It's really good for you because help you only yourself. You got lots of family, you help you around you, your employers. This is pretty good.
100%. And that's sort of the thing. Like it's been weird. Like as a business, we've had to grow, like to do what we're doing and stuff like that. But with growth means you need to add people, and so you get to those awkward points where you look around at the team and you go, oh man, we're really, this is cool. Like I wish I could just stay this way forever. But inevitably it can't, right? And even good people will go as well, because they'll have different things going on in their life and all that sort of stuff. And so the team's always changing, and it's trying to keep that consistent, like throughout. And,
that's when I saw you guys the last time in Rotorua. You guys did the run over there. I feel you guys got a family company. Because all your employers happy and do with you and everything, and you guys choke together lots of things, and because some of the companies, the boss put it too much pressure or angry sometimes, and you make sure you friendly your employers. I think this is the truck for your company getting high.
And a kudos to you too, mate, because there's staff training. There's always different personal development things we're doing. And, you know, like 4 times a year we have a staff meeting where everybody's involved. And it's, you know, we talk about the business as a whole and, you know, everybody's involved. There's, you know, we'll break up into groups and talk about and then just deconstruct different things, different ideas. And like, so I guess we you know, when did you sort of realise that was the direction to go with staff and that? Because like for me, I appreciate it. I think it's great, you know, because I've worked for people that aren't so good at doing that, and you know, and you just do feel like a number and not involved, and you know that sort of thing. So
I don't know, man. For me, like, I think we spend so much time at work.
Yeah.
So why? And to me, like, I don't even feel like an owner. I feel like I work for the company. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. I got to turn up and do mahi every day as well. Like, you know, we've all got a part to play in it. So why go somewhere that sucks, man? Like, you don't want to go somewhere that sucks all day. Like, and I mean, that's been a hell of a journey for me too. Like, I've just learned, like, I certainly haven't nailed it at every step of the way, not by any stretch of the imagination. And to be honest, even the last couple of years has been hard. Like, you talk about being a family, and I think I like that analogy. Like, I do, like, I actually care about what people are up to too, right?
Yeah,
like I get a real kick of hearing about you doing jiu-jitsu and when you turned up with your medal on the weekend. Like, I'm like, yeah, like that is, I feel that, man. Like, I'm just like, that is so cool, and I feel that with everyone too, like in our team. I think what's been real hard to navigate, especially recently, is I think it's easy to be a family that's close-knit and together when things are good. What's been challenging is that when the chips are down, things aren't going everyone's way, how we navigate that together. That's been real hard, and like I say, it's easy to be a good family when it's good, but then it's even just like a lot of the work we've been trying to do on purpose is around, you know, when I'm under pressure, or when I'm not having such a good day, or when something's not going my way, or whatever it might be, how can I navigate that with my team or with my family, so that we can still be stronger for it. I think it's, and we've seen it a little bit, like, I think it's easy to, when the chips are down, just go hands up in the air, nah, F this, too hard. But I think we've navigated it real well. A lot of the time it can feel otherwise, but even with context from other businesses and stuff, like, no one's had a rosy run of it.
Nah, that's right.
And I firmly believe too, like you talked about the PD stuff, Luke. One of my beliefs, and I live and breathe this myself, so it's super important to me. But the personal development stuff, like, I think if everyone, I just believe it's the All Blacks actually coined it. They were like, better people make better rugby players, or better All Blacks. And I just think if we're all better people working on ourselves and doing our own PD, we're going to turn up as better project managers or better QSs, or you know, whatever it might be. And if we and then that just becomes self-fulfilling and compounds as well, because you feel better about yourself. You come to work and you be a better project manager, you go home and be a better dad, or whatever it might be, you know. So if we focus on being better ourselves, we put it out and it comes back to us as well.
That's I said one day, I think, talk to Luke about that. I said sometimes we have a boss and boss, really good boss, because do you know, sometimes your employer no wanna only your money, his salary. Sometimes he wanna someone listening him, or he got some problem, you pass it for him, you say, oh, I think you look no good today. Hey, look, I have some problem. He said, oh, yeah. And he talk with you like a friend, but he knows you, the boss. But when he leave, he said, wow, my boss talked to me and so good, I me feel well, you know. This is good because you don't make only your employer like a employee, but he's a friend as well. And you guys can talk, and that's why some of the companies go up really high. And the guy said, wow, this company started 2 years ago, now is a big in the, for example, in the world. Why? Because he grew up really fast, and he got a lot of money, but he's too simple. He's too have a time with employers, some little things, little shits that I'm here, played, He keep it simple.
Yeah.
But some employers getting too much busy and too much big and lost a little bit the feeling like friendly. That's is different. The companies go high really fast like it's yours because you're friendly your employers as well. I think it's pretty good. Good idea.
Yeah, thanks,
Good.
man.
And just to add to that too, and it is just those little bits and pieces that you do to build the team. I know when we were going through like choosing our company values and stuff like that, it was a team effort. Like we all had a space to contribute, and then and then once they were developed, it was sat down team meeting, and then it was proposed, and we've got it's front and centre in the office, so it's really good. It's things like that make all the difference, I believe. And the company's growing and all that sort of stuff, and I sort of wanted to move into. I mean, it's not only do you give to us, mate. You're like doing a lot in the space of sponsorship and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's really cool. Can you talk us a bit through that?
Yeah, man. Like I don't know. I think for my wife and I, we don't need much. Like for us, generosity is real important.
Yeah.
Like manakitanga to us is respect, care, and generosity. It's like our number one sort of value, and that's through our family, through our work, hopefully. And my wife's a teacher, so she's got that kind of nature anyway. So yeah, like the sponsorship stuff is pretty fun. Like we like getting involved with different organisations, and you've got sponsorship, I suppose, like Waikato Rugby, which is a real mutually beneficial kind of sponsorship in a commercial sense, where we help out the union in terms of giving them some money and helping them with bits and pieces. But then we get that exposure in terms of the brand, which is really cool. But then you've got stuff we get involved in, like the Water Boy, or anything really where we just put some time or effort into stuff. We're looking at helping Cambridge Primary School build some veggie gardens at the moment,
cool.
And
we've
done a few clean-up projects before, and you've got to do that sort of stuff. Like that's the sort of stuff that makes your sense of community. The Water Boy especially is a charity that they're doing some real cool stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I was actually talking to someone on the weekend who I think went to school with the guy that started that.
Yeah, Tom.
And he was just saying, and then I was sort of saying what you guys have just done, and I suppose we'll segue into that with the Blue Lake Challenge.
Yeah.
It's awesome, mate. Like, honestly, we turned up. I think you just done your 48th. Your first marathon?
No,
you
say the next year.
This guy is.
Next year, you go me, you, my partner, and then have another one. He said to me, we need to go. I said, yeah, we go.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if you 1 hour, 2 hours, but we go.
So I was bloody impressed to hear that you did that again and then some, mate. I think, what was it, 102 kilometres?
102 Ks, man. I managed in the end.
Like
what time you guys start?
8 in the morning. We started on the Saturday, and I finished at 1:05 in the morning on Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shit, when I saw you, when you set off that, like when we were there, I mean, your knees looked jacked, bro.
Yeah.
So I was in a world of hurt, man.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, when did it start? When did it start messing with you, mate? Cause
so funny thing is, like, we were doing a lot of running and training, like a lot, and the body was holding up real well, like. I think 2 weeks beforehand we'd done a marathon around the lake in Hamilton. No issues. My hips got a little bit sore. My hips were probably what I was a little bit worried about. But then on lap 3 of this Blue Lake Challenge that we were doing, my knees started playing up, and I was like, uh-oh, this is not good.
Yeah.
It came and went though. Like it was, on one lap, I think it was like at the 30k mark, I was like, oh man, this is real sore. And then had a few, at the exchange on one of the laps, had a couple of drinks and then rubbed some deep heat onto it, and then the next lap I just flew. I didn't feel it at all. And then it just kept coming back until Probably, just after I saw you, and then at about the 60k mark, I was like, man, this sucks.
Yeah.
Like, every step sucks.
So it was just like talk us through the how do you overcome that mentally, mate?
Oh,
Yeah.
man,
Because I mean, if you're hurting at 60 and you've got another 41 k's after
ran
that,
a marathon after that.
well, that's quite remarkable.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Like, it was real fun. Well, in a sick way. Like, I guess because of what we'd done, we'd gone out and asked for sponsorship.
Yeah.
We were doing it for a good cause, being the water boy. So there was a lot of motivation there already to do as well as we could.
Yeah.
You know, like we sort of felt. I mean, to be honest, if we stopped at 50k, it wouldn't have made a difference to how much money we raised. But there was an obligation or a duty of care there to the sponsors that were supporting us and the water boy to really push the boat out and do what we could.
Well, I think you did that more, mate. Both
Yeah. So then it was real funny, like when it got to the real dark, like you know, like probably at I remember at 72, it was the lap that was 72 k's. I was coming up to like 78, and I was going along. My knee was so sore, man. Like there was a lot of hills on this track. And I was coming down, and downhill was the worst because the knees were just the knee was jacked up, man. It was and I was coming down this hill, I was in so much pain, and then I just started thinking all this like pretty dark shit. Like one of the things that was just going through my head was that it was very real in my mind, but I was like thinking about what if my papa died. And I was like, I love my grandfather. Like he's a bit of a legend to me and stuff. And I don't know why. So, like he's old as. Like he's probably going to die sometime in the next 10 years, right? But in my mind, it was playing out like his funeral and shit. And I was like,
where does that shit come from?
Man, 100%. I was like, what? Like to the point where like I had watery eyes. Like I was in a bad place. I was just like. And I sort of like snapped out of it, and I was just like, "Whoa, like, this is what the hell's going on here? Like, this sucks." And then I think it was like the next, so you sort of went in waves like that.
Yeah,
just had to keep like, you know, one step in front of the other. That was one thing that kept playing out.
I mean, I went home and thought about it, and I just thought, like, you know.
When I home 10:30, I said the guys in there cold. I said, come on.
Because when we left, it was just
you legends,
guy.
You guys legends.
But like, I was thinking, you know, like to do 6 laps and then stop, and then that must have been a punish to them. Then you know the clock goes down and you're up again.
Yeah.
It was just enough time to get cold. So like the start of every lap was hard, man. Like it was like having a rusty set of pliers that you're trying to crack open again at the start of every lap. But there were a few things that were real good. Like I read a book about David Goggins, you know, that Can't Hurt Me book.
Oh yeah,
so good.
Yeah.
So one of his things was like reaching into the cookie jar, like what can you hang on to? And I was talking to a guy before we went down there, and he said to me that one thing that helped him when he was doing any sort of event like that was that you would choose the pain. So, you know, there's a lot of people out there who might get sick or have some sort of pain that they are forced to deal with, the loss of a loved one or whatever it is. We were actually out there choosing to be where we were.
Yeah.
Like we decided to try and give this a crack. So, you know, when it got a bit hairy, there were a few times I thought, like, I asked for this. Like, this is where I want to be. There was another lap, man, where again my knee was just blowing up and I kicked a tree stump and my toe's black. Like I think my nail's probably gonna come off. Like, but it was like I was already in agony and I kicked that and I was just like, let out this massive like in the middle of the bush. Like it was dark, it's cold. It was just like but then it was like one step in front of the other. Man, like keep going. It was real interesting because I got to, I think the second worst lap I had was probably like the lap between 78 and 84 Ks. That was just like, this is just terrible, man.
Yeah.
Like I'm so far over this. It's not even funny.
Were you just walking by the stage? Or
I still had to run at least 2.5 Ks a lap. And I was trying to do it the first 2.5 Ks because the rest was hills. Like it was real hard. And I got to the end of that lap and I said to my wife, I was like, I'm done. I cannot do another lap. There's just no way. And then Reese was there from our team, and he was in agony too. Like he was in bad shape, and he was like, I've got one more lap. Like I'm gonna do one more lap. And his wife was there, and she was running it with him. And they were like, sweet. So I was like, and they started the countdown like 2 minutes to lap start. I was like, I was in a bad way, man, like super bad way. I was not keen at all, not even slightly keen. And Reese started setting off, and I was like, I've got to do it. I'm going to go do it. And then like maybe 500 meters into that, I was like walking, and I world hurt, like struggling to walk even. And Reese was the same, and I was like, you know what? I've just got to run. I've got to try run. Like I've got to try get back in time. And then I started thinking, shit, if I get to the end of this lap, I only have to make the time for one more lap after that, and then I can walk to get to 100 Ks.
Yeah.
So I got that 100 Ks in my head.
Yeah.
I think that 84 to 90 K lap, I had like 15 or 16 minutes to spare. Like I pumped it, and then the next one, because I'd adrenaline had kicked in by then. Like my knee was still sore, but I was like, man, on a mission.
Set that 100 Ks.
So ran the next lap too, got back with a bit of time to spare, but as soon as I got to the end of that 96 Ks and I knew I only had one more, everything just went, like my body just went into freak out mode. Like, but I was like, I can walk the next lap. I can walk the whole thing if I have to. And I did, and like it was the worst 6 Ks of my entire life. Like it was ugly, man. And I was so angry, and like every step hurt. Like, and I had 6,000 steps to do or whatever for that 6 Ks. There was uphills, downhills, like tripping.
Because it wasn't just a
rocks.
flat. It was gnarly.
It was trail. There was stairs.
Bloody hell.
And like coming downhill, man, literally like puffing from being in so much pain, not puffing from being tired, puffing because I was just like gritting my teeth and like even just like letting out like some of the noises I was making, I was like, where did that come from, right? Like it's just like come down a step and be like, you know, there was some ugly shit.
And about the next day?
Oh man, so well actually if I at the finish line, so got to the finish line like 102 Ks, and in my head during the run, because I had my watch on telling me where I was at, I got to 100 Ks and this big smile came on my face, but I was in the middle of the bush by myself. I was like, I've just done 100 Ks, and I was like over the moon, right? I was stoked. And then by like 100 Ks and 50 meters, I was like, like I've still got 2 Ks to go. This sucks, man. But then I got to the finish line, and I got there, like I still had some family and stuff there, and got some high fives. I was like, I did it, man. I was just like, I was super pumped, like adrenaline pump. He forgot about the pain. And then they had a funnel there. So this guy filled up a funnel full of beer, man, and just gave me a funnel like 1 a.m, just off, you know. Did it anyway, because I was like, oh, well, I can do whatever I want now. But then, even had to get to the car to go to the hotel in the morning, had to get from the hotel room to the car to go back and pack up. Like, because we you know, it was 1 a.m, we couldn't pack up anything. Struggled to walk. For probably 2-3 days after, was like struggled to walk, and then walking was still sore for the rest of that week.
I think Reece showed me a video of him actually trying to walk around his shirt.
Yeah.
Guys looking at the world of pain. Man. Sorry guys, I just noticed we got some technical difficulties with the video. We just pause for a second.
Yeah, man, easy.
So sorry about that, bit of technical difficulties with the video, but we're back up and running now. So you got there, and what was the final figure that you guys raised, mate?
Oh mate, I actually don't know yet, but it's up over about 16 grand.
Man, that's amazing.
It's a good chunk of change. Like when we set out to do it, we were like, if we could get 10K for Waterboy, we'd be super stoked.
Yeah, I mean, you guys hustled for that. That was so good.
Yeah, man. Like we went out to like kudos to everyone who did sponsor as well. Like people were real generous, man. I was actually surprised. You know, I knew people were generous in that, but we went out, said what we were doing and what for. And people just came back and said, yeah, man, 100% happy to support. So I was blown away by it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's so good. Because, like, just talk us through the Waterboy, mate. It's such a good cause. You know?
Cool, man. So what the Waterboy does, they basically, they break down barriers for Kiwi kids to get into sport. Or that's sort of how they started anyway. So that was, so Thomas Nabs is the guy who founded it. He's a real good rooster. And so that, you know, kids that want to play footy but they can't afford to buy boots, they'll supply them with boots, or, you know, hockey sticks, or sporting equipment, maybe paying fees to play, or you know, there's even kids that are good and then make a rep team that can't get in, they'll help them with that. Waterboys sort of evolved as well into, they run this program called Taku Wairua as well, which means translates to my spirit, and it's basically around giving rangatahi, or our younger generation, tools in life, as you know, not just in the, you know, for sporting reasons, but it's helping them. You know, they do things like mahi dabble days where kids get to try different types of work. They help them learn their whakapapa, where they're from. They help them I'm pretty sure they help them do CVs. Like, they just help them get ready for the world, basically. Where they might not have that support, or they might be from a family that can't provide them much support, or they're just missing a bit of direction or something like that. So I don't explain it as well as what Thomas does, and like there's so much more that they do, but it's a pretty cool organisation. Super cool. Get
them on the podcast.
How long you guys how long you guys help these guys?
Oh man, I can't actually remember when I first met Nabsy. It was a few years ago though. And then we, obviously our apprentice too, he came through the Taku Wairua program with the Waterboy. So I think we had two for some work experience, and then met him at the office, and he interviewed, and like brilliant guy, man. Like he's just unreal.
I can remember talking to you about it. What did he say at his interview? This is amazing. This kid.
So he was, I think he was
17, maybe 16 or 17
at
years
the
old.
time, man, he would have been younger than that. He was 14 or 15. And he said he wanted to be a builder, and he wanted a job. And I was like, oh, look, man, like, you know, what's your end game? Like, what's your big BHAG? I said to him, big, hairy, audacious goal. What's the biggest goal in your life? And he didn't even hesitate, man. He just said, I want to build a house for my nan one day. I was like, honestly, man, I was feeling, straight away. I was like, cool, man. He was,
he's just one of those kids that it just restores your faith in the next generation coming through.
And he's got the work ethic. He's growing leadership capabilities. And to be fair, those foundational skills and stuff, he had the opportunity with the Waterboy. They did a lot for him in terms of getting him ready for work. And he's just blooming now. Like, he's just flourishing. He's just such a cool guy.
So I mean, to be able to give that money to them in a lump sum is man, it's going to do some good, right?
100%. And that was what I was saying to sponsors as well. Like, every dollar you give to these guys just goes so far. They'll do such good with it. Like, you know, and two's one example of this sort of mahi that they do, but they do that for heaps and heaps of kids all around the motu. So.
Oh, that's so good. So another thing you've done this year that I wanted to get into, because I failed miserably at it. Well, when I say failed miserably, I had a bloody good excuse, but I haven't picked it back up as the 75 hard.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so like talk us through that, mate, because you smashed it.
Yeah. Oh, man, it was, I don't know. It was actually a mate of mine did it last year.
Yeah. So this run is after doing 75 hard. So when I say fucking foot to the pedal, mate, like in your case, it's true.
Yeah, man. Oh, look, like, to be honest, and I think I said to you when I was doing it, Luke, like, so 75 hard is basically 75 days of drinking a gallon of water a day, so 3.8 litres, training twice a day for 45 minutes each. One of them has to be outside. Following a diet, and reading 10 pages of a book. So in isolation, like, you'd be like, yeah, cool, I can do that. But the thing with it is, like, you can't cheat once. Like, you're in it for 75 days. You cannot.
And you've got to take a selfie, eh? So you got
take a progress picture every day.
75 selfies of yourself on your phone.
You
miss one and it's back to zero.
Yeah.
Just any of those.
You cannot fail anything in a day.
Oh, I got to, what did I get? Day 20, I think.
You got to 20 something?
Yeah. And then I've dislocated my toe.
That's right.
But the trouble is, I went out the next day and did my morning outside workout. I just made it worse.
Yeah,
So,
100%.
but it was one of my goals for this year. But I'm heading into Christmas if I start now. So. That's a big decision, man.
Yeah. So it's pretty. It was hard, man. Like for sure. I really enjoyed it, but probably it's funny. Like the things that I was most worried about. Well, the thing I was most worried about at the start was not drinking.
Yeah.
That was the one thing where I was like, I haven't not had a drink
For
for
me, it's
75
easy.
days.
Yeah. Oh,
For me,
you're all right. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't not had a drink for more than 75 days since probably I was like 15 or 16.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah.
But I remember by the end of it, you were happy about it, eh?
Mate, so I finished it 4 months ago, maybe, something like that. And it's changed my habits, for good. Like I don't, I don't feel like I need to have a drink all the time. I turn down beers. Like I never would have turned down a beer before.
Yeah.
Like if I came here, even if I didn't feel like drinking, and you said you want a beer, I'd be like,
Let's have it.
let's do it. Yeah, so it's changed that. Like I got through heaps of books. It was just a wicked mindset shift. Like there was so much good came out of it. And it was real hard, but one of the principles of it is like do the hard stuff so that you get that like sense of pride about you can do hard stuff. You can do it. So yeah, man, I'm like pretty proud of that. Like it was definitely cool. I'll probably do it again one day.
Just to give it a go.
Just for fun.
I think there's some add-ons to it too. There's some gratitude stuff and
there's this other stuff you can do afterwards. Yeah, but I think when I finished, I think I was just about to head to. I had an awards night or something like that. That I was like, so I laid up straight away. I was like, I've done my 75. I didn't know about the add-on.
I think actually when we were came out to see you in Raglan, you'd just been to a bloody awards night of Reese, and then you said or a seminar. Got home at 1 o'clock in the morning and had to do your workout.
Had to go do the workout. Man,
that's tough, man.
So that was tough.
But it does explain in the book about all that, to go to social events and stuff like that, you know.
And the funny thing about it is, like, if you said to someone what's involved in it, and you said, well, if you I guess stripped it down and said, cool, if you want to do this challenge, you need to allow basically between 2 and 2.5 hours a day to do the things that you need to do for it. And most people, me included, were just like, I don't have time to do that. I don't have a spare 5 minutes as it is. But in doing it, funnily enough, I would do those things. I would be way more prepared for the following day or that day or whatever I had to prepare all my food. I was actually getting way more done at work. I was spending more time with my family and doing these workouts and working on myself more and reading and, all of that sort of stuff. It's funny what you let take up your energy.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Like, it's funny, like, people say, I don't have time to do that, but then they'll be like, oh, have you seen that new Netflix show? Yeah, I've seen all 4 seasons or whatever. And you're like, I thought you didn't have any time. Like, how did you do that?
Exactly.
Time to watch Netflix. Right? So,
scrolling or whatnot.
It's what we choose to spend our time on.
You're quite right. I mean, it's you have to look at the other areas of your life where you're not doing 75 hard to make that time, right? I suppose everything's a lot more structured, eh?
Yeah.
But sometimes you choose you not have a time, do you know? You say, I not have a time, but if you try to do the challenge like that, you make sure. I think the first week is pretty difficult, but after that you say, wow, I have a time. I have a time, you know?
Yeah, and it was like basically because you had to do it and you set the challenge for yourself, nothing became too ridiculous. So like getting home at 1 a.m. and then going to the gym, it was like, it didn't kill me. It just felt stupid because it was like, why would I do that? It's ridiculous, but I had to do it.
Had to do it.
Didn't kill me. Got my workout done. Felt way better for it. A little bit tired the next day, but I think even one morning I went diving or fishing, and we were leaving at 4 a.m. So I got up at 3, did my 45 minutes, and then went over fishing. So it's like you made time for it, man. You made it work because you can, right?
Like,
Yep. That's
really good input.
We'll get you doing it soon.
Can we go sort of like first
after
January
Christmas?
You guys need to make a group and every time send it.
Well, this,
Yeah, we should actually set a date, man, and just we'll get a few of us together. Next king.
I think
Still
still trying to get Nick down to jiu-jitsu.
pushing him.
So I think it is gonna. I think Taylor A's doing it, eh?
Oh, is he?
Yeah. So he got. I think there's 4 of them doing it. So he's over 10 days.
Oh, nice.
So he said he's like, I don't know, a couple of days before Christmas he's finishing. So he just got in there.
It's infectious, man. Like, there's been a ton of people. My wife was even saying the other day, she had some people say to her that they were doing it because they saw that I'd done it, and like I did it because my mate had done it. Like, there's so many people who said they've done it.
Well known, around the place. Yeah. I think Stevie's done it. Mons. Ryan's halfway through it,
Yeah,
so
man.
People are giving it a crack.
That's good.
Darren gonna do.
Darren. I don't think so. Maybe.
We'll put him.
So your socials, Nate the Builder, that's pretty cool, mate.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Funny. I watched that whole. I saw every bloody laugh. Hey, it was good. Yeah.
Good to post it up, and saw you do the beer bong at the end.
Yeah. It's funny, man. Like that just started because I was on like my normal personal Instagram. This was like probably, I don't know, it must have been about 5 years ago or something like that, and I put on a story. I was just going around on site visits. Like, I think I was still project managing at the time. And I put on my story there on some site visits of like these houses at different stages of construction. And I think I went to like 6 or 7 sites or something like that. Took some videos and I had heaps of people message me, like close friends even, message me and say, "Whoa, is that what you guys do?" And I was like, "Well, yeah." How did you not know that, right? And I was like, well, if some of my best friends don't know, then how can I expect other, or like, because part of the business is want as many people to know what we do as possible, right? So I was like, some of my best friends don't even know that this is what we do, so how can I expect other people to? So that was what made me start that Nate the Builder, and just started sharing some of the stuff we build and what we get up to. It's kind of evolved more now too into sharing stories about the people, and it started off just as strictly like building or new homes, pictures of finished homes or handovers and that sort of stuff's kind of evolved into a lot more business stuff, and some stuff with master builders, or like what we did with the Blue Lake, we're at the home show today and stuff like that. So it's kind of turned into just it's a bit of fun, and
for sure.
But
it's good reach, because people don't know if they don't know,
man, totally. There's like more followers on there, like 3 times as many followers than follow me personally, so it's like it's crack up. Like, I don't know, it's people are into it, I enjoy it too. It's sort of sometimes scrolling back through it, like seeing there might be a finished house and you're like, oh man, that house is so sweet. There's like it's sort of building myself a little memoir kind of thing, that you can just look back on and reflect on. It's cool.
Talking of that, is there any standout builds for you, like ones like the first one complete must have been a big one, right?
Yeah, man. Oh, there's a few actually that I can think of. The first one definitely. There was this real rad little off-grid place we did out in Aotea Harbour.
Oh,
so it was
it's nice out there.
Yeah, man. So it was like a little mono pitch, black and set. It was only about 70 squares, so it'd be probably the smallest house we've ever built actually. But it had like off-grid solar, had its own reticulated water supply, wood burner, polished concrete. Seriously cool. Up on top of the hill, these just amazing views. So that's a cool one. Done a few. Another one was old Brad West's one up over in Caddy. That's just a sick house. They're a young couple and they just chose real cool colours and finishes and stuff like that. That was sick. There's heaps, man. Like,
it must be
super lucky, man.
Newstead must be on the highlights too.
My own house, I'm real stoked with my own house. Like, we've done a couple of hundred houses now. So done heaps of houses for other people.
But I know it was quite interesting through like your build process, and you were smack bang right in the middle of the
Yeah,
lockdowns and all that sort of thing, getting it. So now it's quite interesting talking to you through that process. As you sort of become from the builder to the client. You know?
Man, for sure.
But shit, it's come up so nice, mate. It's like
super stoked with it, man.
All your jobs, all your houses, you would like have a look for yourself. All the houses.
Every house we build.
Yeah.
Oh man, like for the first few years, definitely. Like because I was project managing and stuff now. But now, like I try to get out to houses as much as I can, and it's pretty rare that I won't have seen a house at all when it's been handed over. But there have been some, which I'm just kind of like. It's kind of wild to me, but I mean, we've got a lot of houses under construction. You know, we build a lot. It's not realistic to get out to every house once a month. It just, it'd take me a week. So, I generally know what's going on with all of them though. Like we've got the project management tools and stuff like that mean that I can still keep up to date with progress and stuff. But like Lukey's doing a real cool house at the moment out Haupo. And I haven't seen it yet. And I've driven past it but haven't gone in there. I'm like, man, I need to get in and see that house. Like,
I think that'll be if it works out with the categories and stuff, that'll definitely be the pick for next year.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and super cool client too.
One of the funny things is, about what we do, like it's easy to think about the big beautiful houses or the this and that and the other, but it's real interesting. Like some of the smaller, more basic houses that we've ever built, like first home buyer, investor type homes. When you go to the handovers on those people love it as much or more than the people who are building the multi-million-dollar places. And they still feel like home. Like there's some houses, I wouldn't say any that we've built, but some houses I've been to that are just so big and
got no feeling left.
Man. Like they don't feel like a home. They feel like a monument. Building a house you should be building it to feel like a home.
And it's much satisfaction handing over to a happy, like a family. That's their first home, and it's 100%. It may had to like pull out bits and pieces here and there to make it fit the budget, but it's really satisfying.
100%.
It really is, and that they're going to live in it, and it's going to be there, raise their families in it. It's such a good feeling.
100%.
For sure.
Because you guys getting bigger pretty much next year, you got some different plans, you got news.
Do we have any different plans? Oh, a little bit, man. Like, I mean, we're looking at doing some more government work, just because of, the government's got to build more houses anyway, so we might do a bit more of that. Apart from that, man, it's kind of just use this time where we are a little bit more quiet to focus on the systems and the processes and really get ready for when things do take off again, because they will. Try and maintain quality, keep the team together, keep building on the team, keep the team, working on themselves and doing more PD and all that sort of stuff. So I wouldn't say we're doing anything markedly different. We're just trying to do everything we already do better. Yeah.
Good.
Oh, that's cool, mate. Well, I think what are we at? 1 hour 10.
Hour 10, man. That went quick.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun, eh?
Hey, look, mate, thanks so much for coming and doing this. I mean, there's so many other things I'd like to cover tonight, but I understand everybody's got to get home to their families.
We'll have to go volume 2 one day.
Yeah,
I'll come back for episode 77.
We'll wait for Nathan all the time.
I think that the great thing about like a space like this is like I've learnt so much about you tonight that I didn't know. So it's all really good.
We'll switch chairs next time, eh? I'll interview you.
Look, escape all the time. All the time.
Yeah, hey, I'll ask the questions here, mate, right?
He's scared with me asking some question for him.
Thanks a lot, mate. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers.